What is up everyone? Today we have a new series on the channel, PC Build Guides. We will have a lot of budgets like 500, 750 and over 1000. But today we shall start with 300. This build is aimed at gamers that play games like CSGO, Fortnite and Rocket League. You won't be playing games like Cyberpunk 2027, but for 300 you can't really complain. So let's get started with the CPU. For the CPU, we picked the Ryzen 3 3200G, which was also count for a GPU since it has Vega 8 graphics. The CPU has 4 cores, which should run most games. We could have got a GPU if we went with a dual core, but most games won't run on a dual core CPU. The integrated GPU on this will perform really well in titles like League, Fortnite, and Rocket League. You can do video editing with the CPU, but expect slow playback and not that amazing performance when video editing. The motherboard we chose is a ASRock B450M Pro 4. I picked this up on Newegg for €65 in flash sale, but it normally retails for around €70-75. This motherboard is great for the price. 4 DIMM slots for ultimate upgradability, can support overclocking, and should be able to support Zen 3 CPUs with a BIOS update. This motherboard is brilliant for the budget, and I just cannot say more positive things about it. For the RAM, we went with a 2x4GB configuration from Corsair, rated at 3000 MHz. With integrated graphics, you always want to get at least 8GB of RAM, and if your budget allows, a 2x4GB configuration instead of a 1x8GB configuration. This RAM's a great kit, man. It's nice, black, subtle with the low profile design. Honestly, for the price, this kit's amazing. For storage, I went with the Data 240GB SSD. I know, it's extremely small, but it's enough to handle our OS and a couple of games. And you can always add a hard drive at any point you need more storage. The case we chose is a Thermaltake Versa H17. This is a good budget case for the price. There's plenty of room for cable management. Also, the PCU shot, which for a budget case is nice. There isn't really anything more I can say about this case. Cheap and basic, but good for the price. For the power supply, we got a EVGA 450 watt 80 plus bronze for €50. This PCU is brilliant for the money. At 450 watts with an 80 plus bronze rating for €50, that's a good deal if you ask me. If you want to throw in a GPU for upgrade down the line, this PCU should handle it easily. Alright, now for the benchmarks. Fortnite at 1080p at the medium settings preset, around 50 frames per second, and it was a very enjoyable experience. If you want to play at higher FPS, I would recommend turning down the resolution to 900p or 720p. The next game I tested was CSGO at 1080p at the high reset. I got around 70 FPS most of the time, sometimes dropping below 60 FPS, but it was always smooth regardless of what map I was playing on. Overwatch was a pleasant experience. At the medium setting preset at 1080p, I averaged around 59 FPS. Which is great since it's a competitive shooter. Again, like I said with Fortnite, dropping the resolution down to 900p should offer a decent increase in FPS. League of Legends at the very high preset was easy for the Ryzen 3 3200G. Ran at smooth 120 FPS most of the time, sometimes dipping into the low 100s. The final game we tested was Rocket League. At the high setting preset at 1080p, we got around 77 FPS and sometimes dipping into the 60s if a lot of stuff is happening on the pitch. If you want to build a PC for only 300, then this is the build you should get. With reasonable performance in most games, tops out with lots of upgradability and performance. Thank you so much for watching, and consider subscribing and turning on the notification bell if you wanted to get notified when I upload it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!